Hello and welcome to Gieten in the north of Holland, where February has dawned with sub-zero temperatures, offering a chilly welcome to the riders in this weekend's World Cyclo-cross Championships. We're about to see in the opening here the amateur title over 7 laps of a course which has become bone hard in temperatures overnight reaching -10 degrees Celsius. As you can see, we're looking down here on what is normally a lake in the centre of this very pretty park indeed here in the north of Holland. And today, of course, it's frozen solid. And I don't suppose the riders will mind too much, because this technically is an excellent circuit of just under 3 kilometres, and the riders racing along the edge of it. 55 on the start line, representing most of the nations in the cycling world. And of course, the Czechoslovaks and the Swiss and perhaps the Belgians are the teams to beat here. Thomas Frischknecht in the red helmet there, already a world junior champion of old, now would like to improve on his 3rd place last year in the amateur titles. And also the Czechs too, renowned for their expertise in world amateur cyclocross riding. A little bit of a shuffling start there, but the riders are underway. And as they move out along this tarmac road, they will very shortly turn left. Then they will be on the course, and this is the course they are facing. We've just seen them go through the finishing line, then they'll switch on to a nasty descent around the lake, then they go into the woods. The trails, by the way, are largely sand, but as I say, they're bone hard. There's some very, very steep ascents and descents, as well as steps to run up, and then they come back around the lake, then a nasty left turn and a long straight for the sprint of around 200 metres down to the finishing line. That completes the circuit of just a shade under 3,000 metres, as we pick up the action now on the 2nd lap, and the riders heading up towards the planks. And it's up and over as nimbly as you like, and back into the saddle straight away. Thomas Frischknecht is the rider who's hit the front. He's been at the front immediately from the start, and he's now beginning to apply the pressures. And has to be expected, I suppose, the riders packing behind, because it is almost a road race over hard ground, this, rather than the real term cyclo-cross, which is normally over mud. But as you can see, the riders using their skills but matching the pace very, very well indeed. This is Rudy Tielmans of Belgium. And already you can hear the Swiss cowbells clanging in the backdrop, because they have their man exactly where they want him now, out in front. But perhaps a little surprised to see it's Thomas Frischknecht, because their star was Webel. He's had, in fact, 13 wins this year, but there was a sign just a week ago his form was perhaps going to peak a little bit early, because he's run down the pack and he isn't up amongst the front runners at the moment. This man most certainly is. Thomas Frischknecht, who has had 6 wins this season. There are now 5 laps left for him of the 7 to go, and just look at this behind. Frischknecht has decided to go early, see the course from the front, and let the others decide what they're going to do about it. And as you can see, there's a pack here of some 7 or 8 riders coming together, noticeably too the Czech riders, because the whole team is in this group. And also in this group, 1 or 2 Dutch riders, including Edward Kuiper, the rider who finished 5th in the championships last year. Well, Frischknecht is riding superbly. This is what has become known as the ski jump, and that's why. Straight off the top, bone hard. If your bike gets into one of those ruts, then you really do have a terrifying descent. And then round through the woods, and in fact, we didn't see it that time, but there are steps on the other side of that ski jump. The riders have to return up, and we've had 1 or 2 riders slipping off. When the Dutch Championships were held here just about 4 weeks ago, Adrie van der Poel, who we'll see later in the professional race, won the Dutch title over this very same course. And the lap time then, in very muddy conditions, was around 8 minutes and 10 seconds. In training, the riders here have been scorching round this circuit in just on 6 minutes. And that's the way it's been today as well. And this is the rider who's been doing his own private lapping, because he's now out in front completely here. And this really is an excellent ride. This is Kuiper, who's trying to at least keep him in his sights, because with all the might of Holland cheering him on. And Rudy Tielmans. But the Czechs too are all there. 4 men they've got, and they are the men with the envious record over recent World Championships here. But Frischknecht straight into the saddle and riding very well indeed. Edward Kuiper. And there's the steps I was telling you about, and our cameraman giving a very unusual shot of the ascent. and this is what really hurts the legs. One or two riders here have been showing signs of cracking as they push down up this steep ascent. The old calf muscles and thigh muscles just giving as they approach the top. Well, Kuiper's putting in a determined effort to try and do something about Thomas Frischknecht. This is Frischknecht now, trying to do what in fact his father never did do, Peter Frischknecht, because Peter Frischknecht won 7 medals in World Amateur Cyclo-crossing, 4 silver and 3 bronze, but he never won the gold. And last year his son, at his first attempt, managed the bronze medal in Spain, and now he's all out for the gold. And his father, by the way, is watching this and coaches him. So he's obviously told him to get up front and go from the gun, and let's hope he hasn't misjudged it, because this is Kuiper riding very strongly over that little berm. Just about keeps it going as he gets over the top. This is one of the other nasty descents too, and look at the way his bike is bouncing over the rock-solid ground here. Very, very difficult indeed. Just a touch of the brakes. Now over wooden planks here as they get onto the sand that surrounds the lake, and he locks right into the sand, you see. You just managed to make the turn there. A new bike for Frischknecht off the pits as he comes away from the lake. We're seeing Kuiper now, who is about 18 seconds back of the leader, making a determined effort at picking up. There's the pits up on the right, and I would think Kuiper too will throw his bike in for a new one. Although I really must say I don't really know why the riders are changing bikes quite so frequently, because this course, and in fact Kuiper's run straight through, they look as though they're riding a summer road race. There's hardly any dirt on them at all. The best of the rest, a leading group there of some 10 riders. 4 laps to go then. Frischknecht is already through. They're holding him, but they're certainly not improving on his lead. Well, Kuiper's doing all he can. He's tried to slip the field, but they're clawing him back. And he is not going away. And it might do him a little bit of good, really, to sit up and wait for those 2 chasers as we go up to the front. The dual carriageway here on the top end of the course. That's the situation Frischknecht we're looking at now, ahead of Kuiper, who's about to be joined by Pavel Kamrada and Tielemans from Belgium. Then Weibel, the Swiss favourite, who's down in 5th place. But he really has improved, because he was out of the top 10 at the end of the opening lap. So he's coming through well. But he may have left it too late, because Frischknecht has gone. And this is the coming together now. It's Kamrada who's about to latch onto the back wheel of Kuiper. There's the descent. Makes your heart go down with him, doesn't it? This special camera that NOS television have fitted up here, that's out on a floating gantry, it really gives you the impression we're watching him from an aeroplane. So Kamrada comes up. Tielemans not too far away. Kuiper sticking to the task and not too worried who's caught him, but going to keep on going strongly. And the other Dutchman there who's trying to get in on the picture is Marcel Gerritsen in the orange on the right of our picture. Weibel comes through, but he really is following and not dictating the pace, which is a bit surprising. 13 wins this year, but he was beaten by Frischknecht in the Swiss Championship. And here is the man, Frischknecht, and our cameraman feeling a little bit energetic there. He ran the first 4 steps with the back, with the feet of Frischknecht. He's gone down to recover. Still seeing Kuiper, Pavel Kamrada. And the gap's beginning to open again. That group of 10 has split up now, and Kuiper's the man that's caused the split. But the clock is all of the time telling us that the gap is opening. It was 18 seconds at the end of lap 2, 20 seconds at the end of lap 3. Rudy Tielemans, Belgian champion, and also has been a Belgian champion on a number of occasions, in fact. There he is, as he goes through. Oh, and that's one of his Belgian teammates sitting at the back there, and it was Kurt de Rooster, who's trying to